What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the Samsung Galaxy A36 5G. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is the Samsung Galaxy A36 5G. Now this is one of Samsung's latest mid-range devices, and I'm definitely expecting this phone to be very popular for the company, considering that this phone has a lot to offer, despite it actually being pretty affordable at an MSRP of just $399. I also really like this color. It's called Awesome Lime, and as you look at it at different angles, it has kind of this cool rainbow look to it. So overall, just a really cool color scheme on the back of the phone. Now, as the name of this phone does imply, the Galaxy A36 5G is the successor to last year's Galaxy A35, and I will be comparing this phone to that phone in a separate video, so definitely stay tuned for that content. But before I get too far into things here with the device, let's see what comes included in the box. So here's the box. You can see right there the name of the phone, A36 5G. So we'll open this up. And you can see already it is a slim box, and the reason for that is because there is no USB wall adapter included. So that is a bit unfortunate, but we are getting a SIM card removal tool. And then further into the box here, we have a double-sided USB-C cable for charging and data transfer, and we have some literature about the phone. Now with this device, we're getting a very large 6.7-inch display. So as you can see, it's a really big display here on the phone, which is great because it's really giving us a large canvas for consuming content. In addition to that, we are getting very small bezels as well. With this device, we're getting an 87.7% screen-to-body ratio, and the bottom bezel appears to be slightly thicker, but overall, all the bezels are slim here, and they're also pretty symmetrical in size. Then up top here, we do have a hole punch for the front-facing camera, and that front camera is 12 megapixels. But in addition to this phone having a large display, it is Super AMOLED, so we're getting really good viewing angles here with the device. We're also getting great colors as well. And then we are getting a 120 Hz refresh rate, so a super fast and smooth refresh rate here with the device. So I'm definitely a big fan of that. And honestly, when looking at the display of this phone and just looking at the phone head on, it doesn't look like a budget or mid-range device. This feels like a flagship phone. Of course, the build materials are plastic, which I'll get to in a little bit, but the overall look of the phone does make it actually feel like it's a very pricey device. And then because it does run so smoothly here, it also doesn't feel like an inexpensive phone either. Now the display is 1080p, we're getting a PPI of 385, and we're getting a 19.5:9 aspect ratio with the phone. Now internally here with the device, we're getting 128 gigabytes of storage, but unfortunately there is no micro SD card expansion. So if you've been following kind of the history of having an SD card slot, originally it was the flagship smartphones that got rid of that feature, and then now we're starting to see more and more mid-range and budget devices also not include an SD card slot. Now, for many people, that's not necessarily that big of a deal, and honestly, 128 gigabytes of storage is quite a bit, and I think that will actually suit the needs of most people. But if you do know that you're going to need a lot more storage than 128 gigs, then clearly you should go for a configuration of this device with more storage or a different device, because this phone only offers 128 gigabytes. Another feature that's not on this device is wireless charging. That is to be expected for a phone that's just $399. However, we are starting to see some mid-range phones that do have wireless charging and at the same price, such as the Moto G Stylus 2025. Now, on a more positive note, this phone does have an in-display fingerprint sensor. It's super fast and responsive, and we'll try that one more time. And as you can see, it works really well. And then with this phone, we're also getting Face Unlock. Now, one of my favorite things about this phone definitely has to be the various camera options that we're getting. So we're getting a triple camera setup on the back of the device with a 50 megapixel main camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, and then a 5 megapixel macro camera for close-up images. Now, if you do want to capture images in the full 50 megapixels, simply go up here and tap on 12M and switch it over to 50M. Then after making that switch, you will be taking photos in the full 50 megapixels. Now the reason why that's not the default mode is just because these photos are way larger in size, and for most people it's not totally necessary, but nonetheless I'm glad that the feature is there, and I'm glad that you really have full control over the resolution and the look and the types of photos that you're taking here with the device. Then we can go over to 0.5 to access the ultra wide camera, and then with ultra wide, of course, we can fit a lot more into a single frame. Then we can go over to the More tab here, and then we can access the macro camera. And then with macro, you can get very close up and have things be in really good detail. So that's certainly useful in certain situations. Then we can go to portrait mode, take portrait photos, of course, and you do have control over the amount of blur and the various effects as well. We can flip around to the front-facing camera. There's me right there. We can also take group selfies, so it crops out slightly. And there's also an option to take standard selfies as well. And as far as video goes, this phone supports 4K video with both the front and rear cameras. So that's definitely really awesome that we're getting that. And then with this device, we're getting 6 gigabytes of RAM, along with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 processor. Now I did run a benchmark test using Geekbench 6, and I'll show you the scores right now. So here are the scores that I got from that test. So definitely run this test on your current phone to compare your scores to these scores to really get an idea of the type of performance you'd be expecting to get here with the phone. But overall, it's been running very smoothly so far. Of course, I'm still in kind of the beginning steps here with the device, but setup was super smooth. The phone doesn't get hot at all, which is certainly a great thing. And I think overall, the Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 is actually a really good chipset. And certainly don't be discouraged that it's not a flagship processor, because for many people, they don't need an 8 Elite processor. The Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 is plenty good. Another nice thing about this device is that we're getting a very large 5,000 milliamp hour internal battery, but then also 45 watt fast charging. Now you will have to use a wall adapter that does support 45 watts, but I definitely recommend getting a high quality USB wall adapter so you can actually recharge this phone as fast as you actually can. And then with 45 watt fast charging, this phone can recharge to up to 66% in just 30 minutes. And then with this device, we're getting Samsung's One UI 7 out of the box. That's really awesome. I'm a big fan of One UI 7. It's a really nice overhaul of Samsung software, and overall it's just great. So I probably will be making a dedicated video about One UI 7 in the future, but just know that it's a very good version of Samsung software. We're also getting NFC, so you can use this phone for tap and pay. The phone does feature an IP67 dust and water resistance, so you can go underwater for up to 1 meter for up to 30 minutes. And then we are getting stereo audio with the phone. So we're getting audio out of both the main speaker and the bottom, but then also the earpiece when doing things like listening to music or watching videos. So definitely expect to get a very rich audio listening experience with this device. Now, as far as the hardware goes, like I mentioned, this phone is made completely of plastic besides the display, which is made of glass. On the sides here, we're getting a more matte finish, but on the back it is reflective, and I really like this wavy rainbow look on the back of the phone. Of course, this is the awesome lime color, but I just think this looks really nice in general. I'm glad that Samsung decided to give this phone some fun colors here, because it really does make things a bit better and more interesting. I feel like a lot of these lower end phones tend to have really boring colors, so it's definitely very refreshing to see this here. Now on the left side of the phone, there's nothing. On the right side of the phone, we have volume up, volume down, and the power button. Up top here, we have the noise canceling microphones. Then on the bottom of the device, we have the SIM card slot, microphones, USB-C port for charging and data transfer, and then the main speaker. And then on the back of the phone, we have the camera module, flash, and that's pretty much it. But this concludes my hands-on and first impressions video about the Samsung Galaxy A36 5G. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new today about this device. I'm definitely very excited to continue to test this out, and then of course, eventually I will have my full review of the phone here on the channel. But this is Kevin here, this is the Samsung Galaxy A36 5G, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and have a great rest of your day.